Hello YouTube artist, I'm Kelly Hernig and welcome to In the Studio. Today we're going to be painting rocks. I'm going to show you several different techniques and we are using the magical brand of handmade watercolors by Deep Deep Light. I can't wait to share them with you. Let's go paint. I've got a piece of Canson XL paper and I've drawn 5 rocks, a really small one, a little flat one here. But what I want you to notice is there's kind of a core line running through them. So if you're stacking something, you kind of need that line to make sure that it looks real, like they would actually balance all together. So I just have it kind of going through here, and I'm going to make sure that I touch a little darker point in all of those so that it actually connects the two pieces together. I'm using a little 6 paint palette from Deep Deep Light, and in here is bent grass, ancient red, fly, forest pigeon, prickly pear, and captain's gray. Now a lot of these are granulating colors, and I love the granulating, especially in rocks, because it does all the work for you. You're just applying a little more water than usual and let it play and do its magic. That's exactly what I want. I've got a little mixing dish here. It's a vanity set. It's a set of 2, and I will list that in the description. And I'm using my long round Princeton Aqua Elite brush and the number 8. It's the one I always use. Before I start, any handmade colors want you to put a little drop on them just to wet them and get them started. Don't drown them, just a little drop. I'm going to start with forest pigeon, and I want it to be a fairly light color. So when you're doing light values in watercolor, you want to add more water. And I'm going to start with this little rock up here. I want the sun to be coming from this side, so the left side is my light source, so it's going to be darker on the right side. I'm going to try to use more than one color in the rocks. I like when they have different colors added. Rinsing my brush, and I'm just going to add some water now. I'm going to pull some water up. Got just a little hole in there. Let's see if you can see that. Let me make this a little bigger for you. There we go. And then I'm going to touch some of the captain's gray. Right where it touches the rock. I'm going to go fairly deep right there. Dark. Okay, the next color I'm going to use is bent grass. I really like this color. It's kind of a yellow sandy color, so it has a bit of brown in it, but I really love the way that this color works. So I'm going to go up here. I want to touch that captain's gray and let it kind of bleed in. I'm going to dip into the ancient red, and I'm going to mix that with the bent grass. I like these two together. It kind of creates like a really soft burnt sienna color. Going to get stronger with that burnt or the ancient red at the bottom. Okay, rinsing my brush, just water now. Let's head up here and soften this out. Just bent grass. Making sure this touches that rock. I'm loving those colors. Okay, for the dark on this one, I'm going to use some prickly pear, but before I do that, I'm going to touch into a little bit more bent grass up here, and let's make this a little deeper, especially up here. I love that. Just water now. Let's soften that little edge. There we go. I'm going to mix a little bit more of the bent grass and the ancient red. Let's deepen that right in here. I want this to have a little bit of weight. It seems kind of pale as it's drying. Just ancient red. Touch of prickly pear. Little bit of the bent grass and the ancient red. There we go. Okay, so you see how that is such a bright spot? Let's just soften right here. There we go, I like that. I'm gonna splash that one. And you see that I'm getting a mark up there like a cauliflower? I'm gonna soften that out. There we go. I like that. I like that real dark spot there. I'm going to add a little bit of that prickly pear right up in here. There we go. Okay, the next color is Fly. This color is like a purple gray. It's such a neat color. Again, I'm going to touch into that bottom of that rock, because remember, they have to touch. Okay, this one, I'm going to walk it on down here. Just water on my brush. I'm going to soften this edge. I want it to kind of have a sculpted edge, like it has a sharp corner here. Now I'm going to add some of the prickly pear. This is part of the sculpting, so see how dark it is, right? I want it to be dark against the light over here so that it kind of creates a little bit of an edge, like it's a sharper edge on the rock. Okay, just water. Add a little bit of the bent grass into there. Oh yeah, that looks nice. Let's mingle that color up in there. Notice that I'm dotting, right? Let's dot a little bit of that over here. And I want to add a little bit more water. Let's just get this in here so that it starts to soften out. I'm going to take a little bit of water right here. And I'm going to just blot. So if you can crease your paper towel, see that it's making little creases? And I'm just going to blot it in there. See how it gives it a little more texture? Like if you were to just press, what's going to happen is it's just going to kind of lift without all those little wrinkles, and we want those wrinkles. Splash right there because I wanted to get that wet. Okay. I'm going to go into the forest pigeon again, or pigeon. I've got to make sure that I've got that name right. I have forest pigeon drawn on my sheet. I'm going to use a little bit of Fly plus bent grass. Let's see what that does. Let me see what Captain's Gray does by itself here. Oh, that's a better color. Okay, so Captain's Gray. And you can see Captain Gray is one of the most beautiful granulating colors. It's my favorite. I'm going to take just a little bit of water, scoop that up. Okay, I'm going to go into that blue mixture now. See, I'm just dabbing the color in. I want it to kind of make a streak in here. Ooh, that's pretty. And where it is connecting to that top of that rock, I want it to be quite dark up here as well. I'm going to splash a little bit on just the side. I'm going to mix a little bit of this ancient red, again with the bent grass. I like that combination, and we used it up here, so it's going to look nice down here again. I want it to be a little stronger with the ancient red this time. Let's add some water here. I want it to be nice and heavy here in the corner. Okay, I can see that the blue wants to come down here. So see the blue? I'm going to just take some of that forest pigeon right here and just let it do its magic. So I'm going to kind of pull it down a little softer. I like that a lot. Okay, I'm going to take some of the prickly pear. I'm not smoothing them so that they're smooth, right? I'm not making them match together. I'm kind of following that little outline so that it makes it look like the rock has divots on it. And I can see that that's drying. I'm going to have to splash. And I want to blot right there with my paper towel. Okay, I'm going to add in some Captain's Gray. Touch of that red down here. It's in the shadow area, so it's okay that it's darker, and it's mixing in with that Captain's Gray quite nice. Okay, I'm going to splash this a little bit. And remember, I lifted here, so I'm going to take that and blot just one more time. Oh yeah. So you can see here, I've lost my really dark, so I'm going to come in with some prickly pear. Let's just add a nice darkness right there and along the bottom of that. If it's not dissipating, I just have water on my brush. Let's just soften it out just a little bit. Okay, before I dry, I'm going to add just a little bit more blue up here. Remember, I blotted it because I had that weird spot. So I'm just going to soften that a little bit, add a little bit more color in there. All right. It's been dried and it's cool to the touch. Always make sure your work is back to cool to the touch. Otherwise, if you were to put water on it or paint on it, it's just going to soak in because it's so hot. So I'm going to work with these two up here. I want to take some of that blue now. A little bit of water. Okay, this was the bent wood and the ancient red color. Defining the shape a little bit more. I want to get rid of, I've got kind of a string hard edge right there. Scrape that a little bit. Okay. I want to make sure that this looks like it's on top of that. So I'm going to take a little bit of prickly pear and bent wood, bent grass. Sorry, I always call that the wrong color. Okay, this one I really like. I'm missing a little bit of color here, so I'm going to take some of that. That was the fly color. And I like the darkness here and here. I like that a lot. So on this one here, I'm going to take the Captain's Gray. I'm just looking for where I have interesting lines, and there's a cool one right there. So. Okay. And this one I really like everything about it. I like that the blue's coming down, so I'm going to add just a touch more blue coming down this way. Okay, this was the ancient red. I want to darken that right there, just a little bit right along this edge, so that we have kind of a nice curve coming up. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to darken this little bit of the pigeon up here. My rocks have been dried, and let me bring them up so you can see all the beautiful texture. See the granulating? I love what granulation does to rocks. So this area here where it looks like little bitty dashes or little bitty pieces of like texture, that's the granulation. You can see it real good here in the fly color. I love that rock. I like the addition of the bent grass there. See what the blue did? Isn't that beautiful? I like how it adds to that texture a lot. Now we're going to add a little bitty shadow under here, just because right now it looks kind of naked and I want to fix that. So I used pigeon, no, I used prickly pear and Captain's Gray down here. I'm going to use prickly pear. I think it's the darker of the two. Just water on my brush. If you enjoyed watching me paint rocks with deep, deep light today, please leave me a comment. And remember to give me a thumbs up. It will help the algorithm and share my channel with a lot more people. If you haven't subscribed, please click the button. And as always, thanks so much for watching.